Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition.
We're going to jump right in with a really stark number, one that was brought to light by a recent Bloomberg investigation. Over the last decade, at least 15 deaths right here in the US have been linked to incidents where Tesla's electronic doors allegedly trapped people inside, or, just as critically, slowed down rescuers trying to get to them after a crash.
Now, as you can imagine, a number like that gets a lot of attention, and it has. In response, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, you probably know them as NHTSA, has launched a formal safety probe into these alleged defects, and that signals some pretty serious federal scrutiny of Tesla's design choices.
Okay, so what is actually going on here? Let's take a closer look at the specific technology at the heart of this whole investigation and the really critical safety concerns that it brings up.
So the piece of tech we're talking about is the electronic door latch. Now, unlike the old-school mechanical handle you're probably used to, this system needs the car's electrical power to work. It's what allows for that clean, minimalist design, but it also creates a massive vulnerability. If the car loses power in an accident, the main way to open the door, well, it just stops working.
And this is where the safety implications get really serious. Occupants can get trapped inside, first responders can't get to them. Now, you might be thinking, isn't there a backup? And yes, Tesla does include mechanical releases, but here's the problem. They're often hidden. We're talking about a small, unmarked lever under an armrest or maybe near the floor, not exactly easy to find when you're panicked in a dark, maybe smoke-filled car. Journalists like Dana Hall have detailed just heartbreaking stories from crash reports about these races against time.
But here's the part of the story that's truly compelling. These safety concerns, they are not new. In fact, these exact issues were reportedly debated intensely inside Tesla long before a single one of these cars was sold to a customer.
This timeline really shows you how it all unfolded. If you look back, this debate started around 2015, when the Model 3 was still in development. But despite those internal concerns, production started in 2017 with this exact design. And as the years went on, the incident reports started to pile up, which brings us to today, where there are formal safety probes happening on 3 different continents.
And at the absolute center of that early debate was a pretty significant conflict. According to that Bloomberg report, this one from David Welch, Ed Ludlow, and Dana Hall, some engineers at Tesla flat out warned that these doors were a safety hazard. But as the report claims, CEO Elon Musk was insistent on the design.
And that insistence on a particular design, well, it's had very real, very tangible consequences. It's moved this whole debate out of the engineering lab and onto the scene of tragic accidents.
You know, Krishna Bopanna, who used to be an application architect for NHTSA, really summed it up well. He called the reports heartbreaking because they highlight, in his words, the real human consequences of design decisions. This isn't just some abstract technical issue. We're talking about a profound human cost.
So this is the core tension, right? It's a classic push and pull. On one side, you have the drive for form and novelty, that sleek aesthetic, the software-driven experience. But on the other side, you have these fundamental principles of intuitive safety, which say you have to prioritize things like redundancy and plan for how real people actually behave under extreme stress.
And this case really forces us to zoom out and ask a much bigger question about the kind of responsibility that comes with innovation, especially when human lives are literally on the line.
So, I want to pose this question directly to you, especially if you're a professional in tech or engineering. When these software-defined experiences that we're all creating start to intersect with physical, real-world safety, what is the fundamental responsibility of the person or the company doing the innovating?
So what are the guideposts? Well, drawing from his experience at NHTSA, Krishna Bopanna suggests some principles that are, frankly, non-negotiable. Emergency features have to be intuitive. Redundancy? That's a requirement, not some optional extra. Your design absolutely has to account for human behavior under stress. And maybe most importantly, you have to learn from failures so you can build safer designs in the future.
So where does all of this leave us right now? Well, the scrutiny has officially moved beyond journalists and into the hands of global regulators.
And I really want to emphasize this is not just a US issue, not by a long shot. Regulators in both Europe and Asia are also launching their own investigations, making this a truly global problem for the company.
You can see that active investigations are happening with all the major regulatory bodies. You've got NHTSA in the US, but also their counterparts across Europe and Asia.
The pressure is mounting from all sides.
And this leaves us with one final, critical question that we all have to think about in our increasingly connected world. As our cars essentially become computers on wheels, who is ultimately accountable when the clean, elegant logic of software collides with the messy, harsh, and unpredictable reality of a physical emergency?
Thank you so much for watching.
Understanding these complex intersections between technology, safety, and corporate responsibility, it's absolutely key to staying ahead of the curve. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition.
If you want to keep exploring topics just like this one, please subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. And if you found this breakdown valuable, give it a like and definitely leave a comment with your thoughts. Sharing it with your network also really helps us reach a wider audience.